What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is the only sports podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino. It's Beanie Saturday. We're recording one episode this week. Kids,
I didn't get the memo.
Wives, they just all got in the way, Casino. Everybody except the fans is trying to keep this podcast down. But we're rising from the ashes. We're recording this at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. We've done late shows. We've done afternoon shows. This is our first morning show. How you doing, Casino?
I'm tired.
You look tired. I
didn't get to that till about like 2:30. So
yeah,
that's how dedicated I am to this podcast, everybody.
Yeah. I went to bed last night at 2 a.m. and woke up at 6 a.m. to pick my son up from his grandma's. So I've been up for 2 hours. Just like Tom Brady on all the dating sites, we're back on it, Casino, because that's I guess breaking news for the pod within the past 24 hours is your boy is back on the market. You got a shot, Casino. 13 years.
He's a man.
He is divorcing his wife after 13 years. It is official. All the rumors are true. Do you think he will finally get back to being good at football now that he's single? Huh?
Worse. He's not going to be able to keep up with football and all those Tinder chicks.
He's got Tinder. He's got Grindr. He's got Hinge. He's got plenty of fish. I mean, he's going to be on all of them. But so usually we do 2 shows a week, recapping the last week and then predicting this week. Obviously, we only did 1 episode this week and it's already Saturday. So I guess we'll just do quick talking points from last week's games. I think really the biggest talking points coming out of last week was the Carolina Panthers beating now single Tom Brady and the Bucks 21-3, and then the Washington Commanders beating the Packers 23-21.
And the Bears beating the Patriots. That was another big upset.
Well, I'm saying is Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, will they both miss the playoffs? Yeah. Should you be worried about both? What's your thoughts on that, Casino?
They should both be worried. Rodgers a little more than Brady, just because the difficulty of the teams in Rodgers is a little bit harder of a division. Because I mean the Bucks they were sitting first going in 3-3 until that game, but
so they are first. Now. They're still first the Falcons are first in the division, but the Saints and Panthers are now 1 game behind the Bucks. But I believe if both of them win, that would push Tampa Bay to maybe 3rd or 4th in that division. So this division, it's like every week the standings can change from you're either first or last.
Right. So
you could Ricky Bobby it.
Rodgers definitely has the harder uphill because he doesn't have any weapons. At least Tom Brady still has weapons to work with. I mean, no matter, even if they drop footballs, when they're all by themselves at the 50-yard line and they could walk in for a touchdown, but you drop it out of your hands. Besides that, he's got weapons. Rodgers does not.
Well, the Bucks, they have injured players. They have people coming back, people going back on IR. I don't know. It's a whole thing with them. But the Packers, I mean, you know what? I think the only thing to get the Packers back on track is for Aaron Rodgers to go on a YouTube show and criticize everyone on the team. I think that's the only way to get the Packers back on track. Oh, wait. The breaking news, he did that, Casino. He already did it. So he goes on the Pat McAfee show and he basically, dude, and then he does these comments.
This was rough.
Then people are like reporters are like, hey, you want to retract or confirm or, clarify any of those statements? And then he doubles down on it and is basically like, we heard this last week. We're doing too much out there. And then this week it was like, oh, the coach doesn't know what he's doing. All the young players on the team need to step it up. Like, my offensive line sucks. Like, we're not good on deep. Like, he literally just buried the entire team. And then everybody's either sticking up for him or not sticking up for him. I don't know how you can just be like, that was the right thing to do. Publicly going out and saying everybody on the team sucks but me. Like,
because he truly thinks that that's the case.
oh yeah. No, he's definitely that guy who thinks he's the smartest one in the room. And just like, if you were doing, like, let's say, like, we have both bartended in the past or whatever, he would come up to us and be like, oh, can I get a martini? And martini's one ingredient, right? If you want vermouth, two ingredients. And then you would make it, and then you would try it, and then he would tell you how to make it, and you'd just be like, oh, have you ever bartended before? And he's like, no, this is actually my first martini. I just know how to make them. And you're just like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and then you're drinking an old fashioned.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know. But again, it's like, if Aaron Rodgers had played flawlessly in all these games and had perfect passer ratings and they were still losing, then it's like, okay, obviously he's not the problem. But you watch that Commanders game, I know I did. He was just throwing, he was doing the Russell Wilson thing where he was running around just throwing balls in the dirt and then just giving up on plays like immediately. Like, they were all over him, but it was also just because he was holding onto the ball the whole fucking game.
I agree.
But now, Casino, what everybody's been waiting for, your take, and you already mentioned it, Monday Night Football, the Bears, Eberflus, or however you say that guy's name, out coaches Bill Belichick, Monday Night
100%.
Football.
That was the thing. It was not because of the quarterbacks. It wasn't, changing them in and out. It was, he literally got out coached for one of the very few times in his career. Belichick just got out coached.
The crazy thing was,
everything.
They made Justin Fields do like the Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, like
all over us
RPO package, and he had like 200 yards. It was like half of them were passing, half of them were rushing, just all over him. So this is you've had almost a week to reflect, Casino. What happened? Is this a nail in the coffin for the Patriots? Is this a boost to the Bears? What do you have coming out of this game now that you've had time to like reflect on it?
I think it's more a boost to the Bears than a nail in the coffin for the Pats. I mean, Belichick, he doesn't get outcoached often, but he's going to bounce back. He's not going to really let this phase him. It's just another game to him. He's been in the league for so long. But for the Bears, this is a big boost for them. Like, they can look at their coach and be, oh wow, he just outcoached one of the greatest, if not the greatest coach, out there.
Yeah.
And if I was one of his players, I'd be very, very happy, and I'd be ready to go into the next game fully heated, just in the best way to get on that field for your coach, because he apparently knows what he's talking about. So I would listen to everything he had to say.
Yeah. And I mean, Bears are sneaky, first sneaky of the pod, a sneaky, like kind of good, right on the cusp team. They're 3-4, which is crazy.
It was very, very impressive. I mean, with what they did to Belichick, pretty much just what blanking name coach
Eberflus,
what he did to Belichick. You don't see that.
No,
and
especially
really, I mean, the quarterback controversy. No, he's still working out. They're both young quarterbacks. I mean, Zappy just happens to be showing a bit of zip. So
Zap.
I don't think there's really, I don't really think that there's a quarterback controversy. Mac's going to get the start. Mac was still coming off his injury. He probably couldn't get onto his back foot and throw it that well. It is what it is. So I don't think there is a quarterback controversy. I just think, long story short, Belichick just got out coached.
Well, with the quarterback controversy, so Mac Jones starts the game, gets booed on the field. There's Zappy chants in the stadium. They're playing in New England. Zappy then comes in after was it after halftime or before halftime?
Before half.
So he comes in before half, immediately throws I wouldn't say a dime because the guy had to make a
No.
crazy adjustment to
No,
catch
no,
it, but
that
a
was
deep
it was an overthrown ball that Jacoby Myers barely caught.
made a great catch. But basically, Zappe comes in, drives him right down the field, scores a touchdown. The Patriots look like they have life. Then going into half, Bill Belichick is like, we're going to play both in the second half, which.
And then also the second drive when they scored a touchdown on the second Zappe drive, it was a deep ball to Parker. Parker had to jump up, get a crazy win against two players. That wasn't a good thrown ball, really. Anyway, it's just Parker made a play on it. So I guess you have a little of an issue: is are they playing harder for Zappe than they are Mac? Then there's an issue.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case. I just Mac's gonna have the start. They're still working on things there. Belichick just got outcoached. That's what I see.
Do you what is it? Do you think, I know in your eyes there isn't, but do you think in the collective fan base, let's say Mac Jones comes out, the Patriots play the Jets this week, right? And the Patriots always beat the Jets. Mac Jones
got a defense.
Yeah. Mac Jones comes out, has a bad first half of the game. Do you think Belichick, the fans, you would be like, all right, we're not doing anything with Mac. Let's see what Zappe does in the second half?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's spicy. It's spicy. I like.
There's not a quarterback controversy. It's just a classic. Who's playing better?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, ooh, look at this. Zappe's playing better than Jones. Like, no, Belichick's given both the shot. It's still rebuilding. We'll figure it out.
What I love about these two quarterbacks is they almost look identical, but they're just slightly different enough where you're just like if they both had their helmet off, you'd have to be like, which one is which? But then when they're on the field, I don't know, man. Zappe just looks like he has it, and Mac Jones either looks still beat up or just that he doesn't look as good as Zappe. Also, Zappe is fun to say, and I think that's underrated in this conversation. Zappe. There's so many puns. Mac Jones, you just have Mac. You can do mac and cheese, something like that. And then you have Mac Jones, the rapper. That's it with Mac Jones. With Zappe, you got Zip, you got Zap, you got all these fun things to say. I'm Team Zappe. If the Patriots make the playoffs with Zappe, I'm buying you a Zappe jersey. That is my promise. And you have to wear it on the pod and say you're Team Zappe.
Okay.
Deal.
I'm not against that.
But all right, let's dive into week 8. Week 8 started actually, we're doing the Saturday morning. So Thursday night, Ravens Bucks game, another shit Thursday night game. I thought that game was boring as shit. We both picked the Ravens to win that game. I think everybody picked the Ravens because the Bucks look like they're just in free fall right now.
Yeah, they can't score touchdowns.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you look at the stats and Tom Brady had a good game, but like on paper, but you're watching the game and they just don't move the ball at all. They have like no rushing attack whatsoever. Tom Brady looks like he's
Fournette's
running for his life. What'd you say?
Fournette is a dinosaur.
Mm-hmm. I mean, 9 carries, dinosaur, 24 yards.
Still, I mean, he's still a good dinosaur-ish, but he's not bad to have, but he is. He's a little older.
Well, he looks at this point to just be like a goal line back, right? You just put him in, he runs straight forward, and that's pretty much, that looks like his whole move set right now. And Tom Brady, 26 for 44, 325 yards. But I'll tell you what, I watched that whole game. I can't believe he got 325 yards. It was like he was having trouble moving the ball. It was all Mike Evans. Chris Godwin had 6 for 75. Evans had 6 for 123. Julio Jones, 2 for 21 and 1 touchdown. But their passing attack, I don't know what is, when you watch the Bucs team, you're like, this is one of the most talented offenses in the league. I have no idea where they're not scoring. Tom Brady doesn't even just He doesn't look bad.
Because Mike Evans drops the ball at the 50-yard line when he can walk in for a touchdown. That's why.
I mean, that was as wide open in the
Slurpee
NFL as
at
you
8 in the
can
morning?
get.
Is that a Slurpee at 8 in the morning?
No, this is Dutch Bros. This podcast is also sponsored by Dutch Bros. It's a green tea.
Don't we have a lot of subscribers from out that direction?
I mean, stop by Dutch Bros. Tell them the Only Sports Podcast sent you. They'll give you a free muffin. You heard it here first.
Don't expect the free muffin, guys.
So Ravens Bucks. One takeaway from this game is no team wins when dumb shit like this happens in games. You can always be like, that team's losing. And this one was a Bucks player running into his own guy, signaling for a fair catch, and he just runs straight into him. The Bucks guy fumbles, and the Ravens get it, the ball back, and then score a touchdown literally within the first 5 minutes of the game. When one of those things happens, it's just like one of those things where you're like, okay, this team's losing. Nothing, that shit doesn't happen to good teams. I don't know why, it just doesn't. But let's get into the picks, Casino. Last week, I demolished you. You won 7 games. I won 8 games. Crushed you. As far as the season goes, I'm at 49. You're at 53. So you're 4 games ahead of me. But this week, I can feel it.
I still haven't checked from.
That is with you missing an entire week. So we're not going to count it until we get the numbers, but that'll never happen.
Hey, this could be something fun for our fans. Go back to the first cast and let us know which one. But
let's dive into the picks with this game, or with this week 8. First game, these stupid fucking London games that happen at 6:30 in the morning our time. And it's this dumb shit, like these games they give us. Broncos, Jaguars.
What? Another Broncos
in
prime time game?
A standalone game. Russell Wilson apparently being cringe and as annoying as usual, doing leg rises or whatever, working out in the aisle of the plane for half the plane ride because he's dangerous. I hate it. I hate it all. I want the Broncos to lose just because Russell Wilson is annoying.
And you may get your wish on that.
But what is going on with the Jaguars? This just doesn't feel like
team broke them.
I think that's what it was, because this doesn't feel like a Doug Peterson coach team. Like Doug Peterson's teams were always, when he was with Philadelphia, they were always just like, maybe they weren't winning, but when they were losing, they were still losing like competently, if that makes sense. Like they weren't doing like dumb shit, like how the Bucks guys are running into each other and blah, blah, blah. They were just losing to better teams. Like this Jaguars team came into this season, all the hype in the world. Trevor Lawrence was in early conversations for like, could he be MVP or could he take that next step up? And he just doesn't look like he has it. I don't know, man. What do you make of the Jaguars at this point in the season, Casino?
Dumpster fire. Not good. I mean, they're a different team after that Eagles game.
Yeah, well, because remember, they beat the Chargers like handily, and everybody was like, this is the Jaguars team we were waiting for. This is who we thought it was. And then they laid an egg against the Eagles, and it was just like, okay, well, that's just because the Eagles were good. And then every game after that has looked like the Eagles game. So it's like, what's happening here? I don't understand it. And then they send their best running back to the Jets in a trade where they get like nothing back for them. So it's like, are they just automatic? Are they already going back into like rebuild mode? I don't know.
Oh yeah, they're tanking for Trevor Lawrence. Oh wait, they already got that.
Well, this draft coming up is supposed to be like a heavy, quarterback driven drafts. So it's like, who are they trying to acquire draft picks for? They already have their quarterback for the future.
Do they?
Apparently, I don't know, but the Jaguars are 2-5. The Broncos are 2-5.
The Jags are favored by 2-5.
Really? They're
Yeah,
favored
to 2.5. Yeah.
Damn. I feel like that's crazy, the Jaguars, because again, the Broncos defense is legit. They're a top. Oh, let me pull up my defense stats.
But can you trust? I mean, do you feel comfortable? Can you trust the Broncos to do anything?
Well, the
Yes
Broncos have the second ranked team defense in the league. So I trust that defense to shut down a sputtering Jaguars offense, but I don't trust this Broncos offense to score more than 10, 13 points a game. Like, so if the Jaguars can somehow get 2 touchdowns in this game, I think they win, but I don't see how they could do that. Who you picking in this one, Casino?
Broncos.
Yeah,
the Broncos at least have a little bit going for them. By the way, for all those viewers, yes, this is my headboard.
Whoa. Is that why all the notches are in them?
Oh, yeah.
But I am also going on the with the Broncos as Casino's headboard, and the Broncos would say, let's ride. Broncos. Broncos.
You're forgetting, I'm married.
Next up, Dolphins at Lions. Who you got in this one, Casino? A returning Tua, Dolphins team coming off a big Sunday night win. 4-3 against
1-5.
1-5.
I just feel like Detroit's going to continue this streak of they're a much better team than what their record shows, but they can't get past the hump. They're still the Lions.
Yep.
Miami's going to come out and do some work.
Casino was so tired.
Yeah, a little bit. I didn't get to wake up in 2 hours and get myself some Dutch Bros.
Yeah. Ask for a free muffin. Tell them I sent you. So Detroit, their problem hasn't been the offense this year, except when they did play your Patriots team, which I don't know how it happened when we just saw what the Bears did to your Patriots team and the Lions couldn't score a point. Yeah.
It didn't have anything to do with the team. They were out schemed and out coached.
Yeah, I think that's really what it was. The schemes just were blowing Belichick's mind, apparently.
Anybody rushing to the edge on the Pats?
Yeah. Well,
consistently, you're going to get them.
The good thing about Detroit is they're getting Swift back this week. They still have the 4th ranked offense in the league, 32nd ranked defense. So obviously you can score on them. I think Miami, I saw a stat where both Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, both are in top 5 in receiving yards this year. I think Hill's 1 and Waddle's 3rd. So I feel like this Miami team's just going to have their way with this Detroit defense. This has potential to be blowout of the week, or it could be one of those high scoring.
I got a blowout of the week game.
Oh, is it this one or no?
No.
But I'm picking Dolphins. Are you picking Dolphins as well?
Yes, I am.
So we're both picking Dolphins. Next up, I don't know what to make of this game. The Panthers at the Falcons. We saw the Panthers coming off a big win. The Falcons barely losing to the Bengals. And by that, I mean they got blown out when everybody was picking them against the spread because they were so good, including myself. They broke my heart, ruined my whole parlay card.
Ruined.
Is this one of those situations where the Panthers somehow get rid of their best player but are a better team afterwards? That weird sports thing that happens.
Not going to happen.
I don't
I'd be
know. The
shocked.
guy, the guy who was rushing for them, or they had the two guys, right? The Hubbard and I can't remember the other guy's name, but that rushing attack against a good Bucks defense looked pretty good. I don't know. It
Yeah.
was what is his name? Oh, Foreman and Hubbard. Foreman rushed for 15, 118, and Hubbard was 9 for 63 and a touchdown against a good Bucks defense. I don't know. I'm kind of again, Atlanta's
Do it.
fun.
Just pick them.
You know what? I'm back on the Panthers bandwagon. I'm picking the Panthers upset against a fun Falcons team, but we talked about this last episode, a Falcons team where none of their stats add up to them winning. So how the hell are they winning? I don't know. The Panthers at least have some sort of identity with a good rushing defense or a good rushing offense and a subpar defense, but at least they have good players on that team.
What I think is going to kill the Panthers is they can't convert on third downs. They're one of the worst teams on third down. And Atlanta, I don't know the exact positioning on that, but every time I watch them, like they typically do pretty good. I say about a 50% chance on third, something like that. But yeah, it'd be a little less than that because 50 is pretty hard to do. But all basically what I'm saying, Falcons are better on the third down than the Panthers, and I just think that the Panthers aren't going to be on the field as much as the Falcons will be. So
this is one of those games. This is one of those games where when you look at the team stats, Carolina has the worst offense in the league, 32nd, and it's by them and Tennessee have the worst offense, like bar none. Closest to them is Pittsburgh, who's like still way ahead of them. Atlanta has the 30th ranked defense. Carolina has the 18th ranked defense. So both these teams are, again, Atlanta is bottom of the list on both offense and defense, but they're a fun team to watch. Division. I don't understand it. I think it's one of those paper tiger
in that division.
Yeah. It's one of those paper tiger situations. I don't know. The Panthers, I just feel like maybe they get some momentum from last week. I'm picking the Panthers. You're picking the Falcons?
Yep.
It's going to be domination this week by one of us. Next up, sneaky, interesting game. I don't know if it'll be a good game. Cardinals at Vikings. Who you got for this one, Casino?
Vikings.
You don't think? Do you think there's any shot the Cardinals win? 3-4 Cardinals, 5-1 Vikings.
No, there's definitely a shot, but you asked me my pick. I'm telling you it. Go with it, Vikings.
The Cardinals ranked 15th in offense, but they got DeAndre Hopkins back. Now the Cardinals defense, on the other hand, 22nd in the league. It has some players on it. You know, you got JJ Watt over there. I don't know. Kirk Cousins has looked good this season, but it's always one of those things with Kirk Cousins where it's like he has like 3 games a year where you're like, what the hell were you doing? Like in the game, you've looked good the rest of the season. I don't know. I am taking the Cardinals in an upset. I just feel like this is going to be one of those weird.
You think that they're Murray and Pittsburgh, they're going to be fine working together? I mean, they're obviously not happy with each other.
No, they clearly hate each other. I think Kingsbury, I don't think he's a good coach, but I don't know, man. Just something, I feel like it's also one of those things where when all the spotlight is on you as like, oh, the coach and the quarterback are just getting into it on the sidelines in the middle of a game, and there's dissension, and there's all this shit about Kyler Murray, and it has been for years, right? Where it's like, does he study? Does he even like football? Like everybody's making the jokes that the new Call of Duty came out, so he's just going to be playing that the whole time. Like it's all this stuff. This just seems like one of those things where that's the news going into this game. Nobody's really talking about the Vikings because obviously the Vikings probably second, third best team in the NFC at the moment. But it's just like, this is one of those games where then the Cardinals come out and win. And then everybody's like, ship's righted. Like, we overreacted to everything, and then they go on like a 4-game losing streak after this, and then everybody just acts like they called it the whole time. This is
So you're picking the
classic
Cards.
sports. Huh?
You're picking the Cards then, right?
Yeah, this is classic sports, Casino. Classic sports story. I'm picking the Cards in the upset. Next up, now this game got much more interesting based on last week, which is Bears at Cowboys.
No, this is going to be Cowboys are going to get, they're just going to crush them, and everybody's going to be like, oh my goodness, Cowboys are the best team in the world, and continue with that.
Well, I mean, how will this Bears offense, I know they scored on the Patriots, but how will they score on this Dallas defense, best defense I've ever seen? How will they put up points? Offense.
Rodgers isn't playing this week, right?
Who?
I thought Rodgers wasn't playing, or somebody on there. I thought somebody's complaining about a shoulder.
For the Cardinals or for the Cowboys or the Bears?
Oh, I was thinking.
Casino, wake up, go to Dutch Bros, get a coffee drink and a muffin. But the team
Never
rating.
mind. I'm in the wrong. Okay, let's start this over. Flashback. All right.
So for the Bears Dallas game, I don't know if you can really even take like what's happened previous weeks into account for this game, because both these offenses are rated at the bottom of the league in terms of like yards, efficiency, all that. Chicago's 28th, Dallas is 29th, but Chicago looked like they had a very different offense last week. Obviously, the Cowboys have a very different offense now with Dak instead of Cooper Rush. You also have. I'm sorry?
You calling an upset? It sounds like you're walking that way.
I mean, Chicago Bears defense, top 12. Dallas defense, best I've ever seen, even though they're 6th in the league this year. But I'm picking another upset, Casino. I'm picking chaos. I'm picking the Bears to continue their streak and upset the Cowboys in a close game. I didn't like what I saw from Dak last week. That game was like 6-3 deep into the fourth quarter. And then Dak Prescott, he beats bad teams. He puts up great numbers in garbage time. I don't know. I think the last week, that big win on Monday night, it's in the spotlight. I think it kind of like lifted up the Bears, and why not? Why not? I'm picking the Bears.
Okay.
You're picking Cowboys?
Yes.
And do you dispute anything I'm saying? Next up, we have Raiders at Saints. I don't know what to make of this game. The Saints have the number 3 ranked offense in the league, which I don't know how the hell that's possible, and the number 14th ranked defense. Obviously, the Raiders are much lower on both of those lists. Who you got, Casino? Raiders, Saints. Saints at the bottom of the division with this win could be tied for first.
I'm not going to touch this game.
Dude.
No.
This is, the Raiders are 2-4. For some reason, the Saints feel way better than their record, and so do the Raiders, but they both just have basically the same record, except the Saints have way better stat. I don't know.
To turn the cup. You can't see the logo. There it is. Oh man. Who do you want? And I'll pick the opposite.
I think I'm going to go Raiders.
And I'm going to go Saints.
All right.
That's my brother-in-law team, so you know what? Let's just go with that, and I can cheer with him.
I just feel like the Raiders, they're one of the few teams that have scored more points than they've allowed with a losing record. if that makes sense. Like they have a losing record, even though they've scored more points than they've allowed. I don't know. I just think the Raiders, maybe again, it's with the Bears thing. Like maybe they've got some momentum now. They feel like they should be better than they are. The Saints kind of feel like they're in this weird holding place where they have Andy Dalton in it. And when Jameis is okay, is he going to come back? Is Andy Dalton's been fine, but he hasn't been like lighting it up. But then Jameson hasn't been fun. Jameson, where he's throwing for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this Saints team. This Raiders team just feels like it's got the short end of the stick every week. And I still think their coach, Dennis Allen or whatever, I think he might be one of the worst coaches in the league. And he would be getting way more publicity as the worst coach if the actual worst coach in the league wasn't in his division with Hackett in Denver. But yeah, I don't know. Give me the Raiders. I wish they had a fun saying like let's ride, but just win, baby. Right? That's their saying.
Just win.
Next up, Casino, the 2-5 Steelers at the undefeated Eagles. You know I'm going Steelers. Upset alert, upset pick here. Convince me otherwise, Casino.
I'm just going to beat you on the picks for the year just because you keep going against your team. I have 6. You would be beating me right now, right? On picks
if I pick the Eagles every week. Yes, I would be. And I honestly would have picked them every week, I think, except against that Vikings team because I thought they were going to lose that one. But every other one, I would have picked them. But I got to keep this streak going. When they officially lose for the first time, if they lose for the first time, then I will start picking rationally. But this streak means more to me than picks on the show for that one game. I'm sorry, Casino.
No, that makes it easy for me. Go Philly.
I do think the Steelers had that upset win against the Buccaneers, but the Buccaneers now losing 2 weeks in a row to Steelers and Panthers. They just look like they're in a free fall. You have all the Tom Brady drama. I don't know. Maybe he didn't get a kiss from his son before either of those games. We don't know what's happening.
Some of my regulars have already been making kissing his son jokes with the divorce and all of that jazz.
I mean, we don't know if that wasn't a factor. We don't know. Just like we don't know. Oh. Can you imagine? Let's play, because I just thought of this. Can you imagine how fun just sports media in general and how much fun we'll have on this podcast if it turns out that all the shit that Antonio Brown has been talking about is actually true, and like a couple months from now he's seen out with like Giselle and they're like at a lunch or something together? I think that would that would be the only, we would do a whole podcast just on that whole situation. Like, I don't think it's true.
Uncle AB.
I don't know if it's true, but if it is, best news story of the year. That would be fun. Capital F.
Oh yeah.
But Steelers, Eagles, I don't know. I don't think Kenny Pickett has it, man. Every game I see him in, he just doesn't look like he knows what he's doing out there. I had high hopes for him coming out of college because, you always hear about like the intangibles, and people were like, he does nothing in practice. Second he's in game, he like lights it up. He's a winner, like blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, man. I'm interested to see him against this Phillies defense that's better than the Cowboys defense, but it's not Casino, the Cowboys' best defense of the century. Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers. You're taking the Eagles. Next up, your game, Patriots, Jets. Who you taking? And this one, Casino, Mac Jones will be the starting quarterback. The motherfuckers on the other side. Who you got?
This is going to be close. I think it's going to be a very close game, but I'm just going to go off track record. Belichick is good against the Jets, and Belichick has destroyed Zach Wilson.
Yes. And
I'm only picking the Patriots based on that, because the Patriots trying to score points. I mean, they've shown it, though. They can score points on defenses. I mean, not even if they're good, they're not getting crazy amounts, but they are still chipping away little by little. Um, I do think this solely comes down to Belichick could maybe. I mean, I like I said, I don't think it phased him too much, but I'm sure he's not going to get outcoached like that 2 games in a row.
Yeah. Well, they
That's
also
my
Jets
whole thing.
also took a huge blow this week where they lost Brees Hall. He's
Brees
now on
Hall.
the IR. He looked like their entire offense. They got James Robinson from Jacksonville, but how much can he get acclimated to this Jets playbook
Yeah,
in
no,
a week's
I
time?
feel really bad. I mean, I don't feel bad for the Jets because I don't care for the Jets, but Brees Hall, man, I mean, that game alone, he had a 64 or something like that yard touchdown,
He looked like
breaking
he was on
free.
track to win Rookie of the Year. I mean, who
Oh
was even
yeah,
close?
he was doing amazing, and I feel so bad for the dude.
Yeah. And I feel bad for Jets fans where it's just like you finally got some momentum, some
Me,
good stuff going. You have like an identity where you play really good defense, you run the ball, and then half of that equation gets taken out at the knees, literally. The thing that I don't know, man, like with the Giants, it's like you could look at Daniel Jones' stats and be like, this is why they're winning, right? Like everybody thought they would win in spite of him. They're winning actually with him. He's a good rushing quarterback, surprisingly good passing quarterback this year. And it's like all like, oh, that's why they're winning. The Jets, Zach Wilson has 1 touchdown this year, 2 interceptions, and less than 700 yards passing. I like when you watch
well,
this
he was
Jets
out a few
offense,
games.
it's what?
He was out a few games too.
He still played in one, two, three. He still played in 4 games and he has 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Like he just hasn't looked good in the games. This Jets offense has
He's too
weapons.
busy begging moms. Give
I
the guy a
mean, I
break.
just realized this when I looked up Zach Wilson's stats. I remembered that he went to BYU. I did not remember that it was called the BYU Cougars. Do you think that had anything to do with him going to that school? And then he got there and he was just sorely disappointed that there was no Cougars, no MILFs running around, and it was all just, you know, BYU kids that look like they all just look like those Christmas angels from like those old claymation shows, you know, the elf, the one who wanted to be a dentist.
So what you're saying is they look like Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, Zach Wilson looks like the 3 quarterbacks I imagine how all quarterbacks at BYU look. I'm just gonna but shout out to Jeff, our Mormon friend. BYU, Mormon. He didn't go there though. All right. So I think it's pretty obvious we're both picking the Patriots in an upset, but I don't know, man. This Jets team, it's fun. I'm going to send Jeff just this section of it right here. Next up, we should start having, there's like sneaky good games. I don't know. We should start having a term for shit game of the week or just looks bad. I don't know. Titans Texans is doing nothing for me. Titans have one of the worst offenses in the league. They look like they're regressing on offense. Derrick Henry doesn't look the same, even though he still looks pretty good, but he doesn't look to Derrick Henry heights. Malik Willis, if I feel like if he had one good game, Tannehill would have been out of there. Who you got in this one, Casino? And then the Texans, I don't even think they're worth talking about. Just a dumpster fire.
Then that's why I'm going with Tennessee.
Tennessee 4-2. I don't know how. Texans 1-4-1. I do know how. Yeah,
No,
I think
it's it Tennessee, and if they lose to the Texans, I'd be thoroughly shocked. And I very maybe you disagree with me, but Houston is only plus 2.5.
How?
I don't know. I mean, well,
And
you just kind of said it though. You said you don't know how Tennessee's 4-2. Maybe maybe the sports books know more than us. Who knows? Maybe we should have them on this podcast.
I
They'll be
mean,
very
first,
confused because when we bring it up, they're gonna be like, "What's a podcast?" Never heard
I
of
was
it.
going to say, first we'd have to explain to them what a podcast is, and it'd just be a whole rigmarole. But this is what I'm talking about with Derrick Henry, where he has
By the way,
500.
no, I'm gonna stop you right there. A rigmarole.
Oh, the
Is that
rigmarole
where
game?
is that where we're gonna start calling the bad games rigmaroles?
But rigmarole doesn't mean bad, but it's
I
just
know
fun to
it's
say.
just fun to say.
Okay, yeah, we can say it. The rigmarole game of the week, Titans Texans.
No, I
That's
don't
what
like it.
it'll
We're
be
gonna move off
labeled.
that. We're gonna find something different.
We'll
You said it
workshop
again, and you said it again. And I just couldn't stand it.
Yeah, we'll workshop it. But Derrick Henry, he's putting up the yards, but I think the issue is the attempts. Like, this is last 4 games, 20 attempts to get to 85 yards, 22 attempts to get to 114, 28 to get to 102, 30 to get to 128. It just feels like he's doing a lot more attempts to get to less numbers than he's had in the past. And I think that's the warning sign of, like we were talking about Leonard Fournette earlier, like the warning sign of an aging running back who just has taken a million hits over the years, where it's just like, now you're doing more quantity over quality just to get to the same place you used to be. I don't know. When I see games with Derrick Henry, it just looks like now he's running as hard, but getting less for it, if that makes sense. But despite all that, I can't talk myself into a Texans upset. I've done too many upsets this week, and I really don't think there's any shot of the Texans winning. I'm picking Titans all day. I'm assuming you are as well.
Yep.
And next up, not even sneaky good, maybe at the beginning of the season, but now just a good game. Giants Seahawks. Seahawks, one of the most, I think both these teams, probably the 2 most surprising teams this year. Maybe throw the Jets in there as well. 6-1 New York Giants at 4-3 Seattle Seahawks. The 4-3 NFC West leading Seattle Seahawks, which is insane. Who you got in this game, Casino?
Giants. It's supposed to be rainy. It's supposed to be nasty. Jones and Barkley are going to hold onto that ball like they do every game, but they're not going to have to worry about passing. And Geno Smith has been mostly passing this year. So I'm going to go Giants. And I keep I wasn't going with them. I was like, Giants are bad. I want to think they're bad. I think they're going to go 7-1. And this franchise and these fans are going to lose their shit.
This is, again, this Giants team is right there with Atlanta, where it's like, when you look at all their stats, it's like, how are they winning games? All their games have been within 1 possession, which is insane. But sometimes, I think Tennessee had this last year, where it was like, they had a great running game, average defense, but they were just winning all the 1-score games. And that's how they got the number 1 seed in the AFC. And the Eagles are undefeated in that division, but that still only means the Giants are 1 game back. So the Giants are keeping pace in that division. And then obviously there's Dallas right there with only 2 losses. So crazy thing about the Giants, 19th in both offense and defense. So they're kind of middle of the pack in both, but they play hard. Brian Daboll definitely in contention, if not the front runner for Coach of the Year. This Giants team just is, I won't say they're
no
fun.
question, because nobody, especially us.
Oh, no, we thought the Giants were going to be a dumpster fire. Yeah.
I thought this was going to be a reversed number stat line. I thought it was going to be 1-6.
And I think we can say the same about the Seahawks. We thought without Russell Wilson, they're losing all their players everywhere. We thought they were going to be a dumpster fire as well. Seahawks have been fun to watch. Geno Smith is having his Geno resurgence, and I like the Seahawks, but I just think this Giants defense, or this Giants team, is just really well coached. They know what they are and they play really well into it. I'm picking Giants as well. And I can't believe the New York Giants are going to be 7-1. That is crazy. Next up, rigmarole contender for worst game of the week as well. The Commanders versus the Sam Ellinger, however you say his name, led Colts. We didn't talk about that because we didn't do a review of last week. We kind of only touched on a couple bullet points, but the Colts are essentially benching Matt Ryan to bring in Sam Ellinger. Matt Ryan is leading the league in interceptions. The Colts, but really, when you watch the Colts game, it feels like it's all Matt Ryan because Jonathan Taylor really doesn't feel like he's doing anything this season. I don't even know if he's injured or not, but I don't know, Casino, what to make of this Colts team. I don't know what to make of this Commanders team led by Taylor Heineke. So I'm going to throw my hands up in the air and succeed to you. I will now do the thing where whoever you pick, I will pick the opposite. Who you picking?
I'm just going to stick with the line then, and then I'm going to go with Indy at -3.
Ooh,
at home.
Do you think their offense gets better or worse with a new quarterback?
Can't get worse.
I mean, I feel the Colts, I feel like were one of those teams at the beginning of the season where everybody was picking them as like the clear favorite in that division, where they'd be battling, with a surging Jaguars team, a letdown Titans team, and there's still only one game back in that division. They're 3-3-1, but
everybody was 3-4 or 3-3.
Yeah, they just feel they also feel like bad, right? They feel like the Broncos, where it's just like, I don't know. But yeah, this Colts team, I don't even know what their stats are. The Colts, I feel like the Colts defense is good, and they are. They're top 8. They're a top 8 defense in the league, but that offense, like you said, is 16th in the league, but they just feel worse. I don't know, man. I don't feel like
you wear beanies, by the way.
What?
I like when you wear beanies.
Yeah. Usually that used to be your thing. You used to be Beanie Boy. Everybody called you that. That was your nickname, Beanie Boy.
Yeah.
And now I never see you wear a beanie.
It wasn't because I wore beanies. It's just because I have small nuts.
I thought it was because of your excessive Beanie Baby collection, but there was a lot of layers to that nickname. But also, I want to get this right here for the podcast listeners. Why did you stop wearing beanies? Because I'm serious. For like 3 years of your life, I never didn't see you in a beanie.
I started wearing hats.
Oh, that is true. Now you do wear hats. Wait, but you're not wearing a beanie or a hat on the podcast. I don't think you've done it in one.
I have a couple times hats. It's just, I don't know. With this, I don't like it because the little metal part from the top, like, it's right there, and I just don't like it.
Also, I don't like beanies that don't have a poof on top. Beanies should have poofs. That's my hot take for this week. That's my podcast hot take. Take it to the bank. Go get your muffin. Tell them I said that.
Right. We need to get back on track here. We only got about 30 minutes to go, and we still haven't even talked about anything else. So our producer, aka the time, is yelling at us.
We only got 3 more games to go.
I get it, grandfather time. Let's go.
I hate that commercial with LeBron James. It's the worst.
Oh, me too.
The father time one. I'm already sick of it. It's been on the air for like a week and a half.
And how many times have you seen it?
Dude, every time I watch an NBA game, they play it every commercial break. There's like 3 of them that they just rotate. I hate it. 49ers, Rams. Who you got for this one, Casino? The Christian McCaffrey led.
This is 49ers. A pick'em game.
This is a good game.
This is a pick'em game. I'm going Niners.
Ooh, I think I'm going Rams.
That's fair.
And I was going to say that before you even said that. So it's nice when we have a little dissension. Why are you picking the Niners?
Because I'm underwhelmed by what I see in the Rams.
But you're not underwhelmed by what you've seen with the 49ers? They're 3-4.
They're kind of where I thought they would be, honestly. I wasn't one of those people from the get-go. Maybe I am. Look at the old podcast. I don't know. But yeah, no, I don't think I've ever said that they were going to be an explosive team. I picked the Rams to go from the NFC. So
Yeah.
I'm a little just personally underwhelmed on the Rams, and I just think the Niners will do it. I think having Christian McCaffrey now, and he's got a little bit of time there, um, they're going to look much better.
I don't know. I feel like, well, the Rams defense is top 5 in the league. The 49ers defense is top 3 in the league. So this really might just come down to who has the better defense that day, because both these offenses feel like they are just not at what they should be, especially with the weapons on offense they have. You know, you have,
and I think giving McCaffrey the ball and letting him do a little bit more is going to help and benefit the offense of the Niners, because it takes the ball out of Garoppolo's hand and he's not messing up.
yeah. I mean, the Rams, 26th ranked offense, they've obviously been disappointing. Their whole offense is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
If like that's it.
Fantasy. I haven't talked about my fantasy in a while.
No, well, my fantasy's in the toilet. I was undefeated first 4 weeks. I've lost the last 3 weeks.
6-1, baby. 6-1.
Downward spiral. The San Francisco 49ers, 14th ranked offense, and that's obviously before they added Christian McCaffrey. So I am going to watch this game just so I can see what kind of plays they do with Debo and what they do with Christian McCaffrey, because I feel like you can do some interesting scheming with having those two who can basically.
And you're still picking everything. The Rams, though.
But I'm still picking the Rams. I just think, I don't know. I just feel like this Rams team just.
I know you're realizing that was a bad pick, and you're just going to stick with it because you don't want to look like you messed up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I also trust Sean McVay over Kyle Shanahan, who I think is one of the most overrated coaches ever. But next game, Casino. Also, I am still picking the Rams.
Of the week.
Go Rams. You're what?
This is going to be my blowout of the week.
Really? And that is Packers Bills Sunday night this is in Buffalo, right?
Yes.
And is that why you're picking it as blowout of the week?
No, I'm picking it blowout of the week because you have this Packers team that's already on a 3-game skid, and they haven't really played that good teams. I mean, their wins are against the Bears, the Bucks, and the Patriots. Their losses, Vikings, Giants, Jets, and Commanders. They're not a good team. They're finally going to be playing a juggernaut, team that is contention to win the Super Bowl. They are going to get obliterated. I can't wait for this to happen. And this is where I was saying Rodgers is out, right? Rodgers isn't playing this game from what I heard.
No, I think he's playing this game.
Oh,
is he?
Did I hear something wrong then? I thought he was out because he heard a pop in his arm or something like that.
This would be breaking news to me. I have not heard this. No, I think he is starting because every headline I see about him is just talking about his dumbass comments.
Well, so I heard something wrong here then.
But does that change your opinion on this game?
No, not at all.
What it was, I think because they're obviously, this is the Sunday night standalone game, so they're trying to hype up like, oh, Aaron Rodgers, he in prime time he's got like.
Where did I read this? And I must have. I don't know.
But yeah, they're trying to do the thing where it's like Aaron Rodgers in primetime games, he has 35 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, like he's only lost like one game. But
I apologize to all my listeners. I got fed some misinformation. I thought I read that. My bad. Regardless, the Bills are going to blow them out.
But yeah, I don't think that changes anything. I'm also picking the Bills. I don't know if I'd go blowout. I feel like this is one of those games where at halftime, it's going to be like 14-10. And then third and fourth quarter, the Bills just lay like 3-4 touchdowns on them. And then the end stat is like.
It is a 10.5 Bills favored. and I think it's going to end up 25 minimum.
Really?
I do.
Woo! Blowout of the week. I mean, I don't think the comments or any of the Aaron Rodgers this week, I don't think that motivates anybody. I think it more pisses people off than like, oh, Aaron Rodgers thinks we suck. We better step it up. I more feel like it's like, fuck him. And then they go out and just get fucking annihilated. So I'm also picking the Bills. I also feel like 10.5 sounds like a lot, but when you look at it, like, not, I don't feel like that's enough like of a line. I would take that all day for the
Yeah.
Bills to win by 10. But then again, you should not take my gambling advice, so do with that what you will. Last game of the week, Halloween night, Monday night, Bengals Browns in a spooky matchup.
Good game.
I don't know what to make of this Browns team. I feel like I overrate them in my head, but I don't trust.
No, they're good. They blow it in the fourth every single time. They blow it with the last 6 minutes. That's why I'm choosing Cincy. Is Cleveland can't close out a game.
Yeah.
And I've been right about that every time I've picked them since I've been saying that.
Yeah.
Since he's going to win.
They have the Ravens fourth quarteritis where they lead the whole game and then they just give it up in the fourth. Does the Jamar Chase being out, I believe he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Does that worry you about this Bengals offense?
Nah, not at all.
I still feel like they have T. Higgins. They have Tyler Boyd. I still feel like they have weapons on this offense. They obviously have
Joe Burrow is going to figure it out.
Yeah, they obviously have Joe Mixon running behind I don't know what they did to this line to improve it, where Joe Burrow is not just getting murdered every play or running for his life. This offensive line finally looks like they're cohesive, and Burrow has been lighting everybody up. Jamar Chase is obviously a big part of this offense, but I still think they have a good enough supporting cast to beat a Browns team that, I don't know. Their defense is ranked 6th in the league, so they do have a good defense, but it's kind of the Broncos scenario, right? Where it's like great defense, and then the offense, you have no idea what you're going to get, or they don't live up to the potential of what they are. I'm picking the Bengals as well, just because I like Joey B. He might be one of the few quarterbacks in the league where I was like, man, I wish that guy was on my team. I don't know. He just looks like he has that poise, that swagger, and it just looks like he's unfazed by literally everything. But that's what I also like about Jalen Hurts. So I don't know. I'm picking the Bengals as well. We have enough games this week where it will different, where it'll probably be a blowout one side or the other. I'm picking me, Casino, but you have a shot. Let's move off of football and go to game 1 of the World Series played last night.
What
Phillies,
a game.
Dude, that game, I watched the whole thing. Great game, great comeback win.
We had the sound in at the bar. Everybody was just absolutely just loving every second of it. And that's baseball.
Yeah. No, that game was on both TVs at my work. It was, great game. The Astros, I believe, were up 5-0, and then the Phillies come back, score 6 unanswered. It goes into extra innings, ends in the 10th. In Houston, Phillies steal a game. I honestly thought this was going to be an Astros sweep. Maybe the Phillies win one game, but after that first game, I don't know. There's something about this Phillies team. It's making me doubt my pick, but I still think Astros have potential to win the next 4, but I'm not going to lie. After last night's game and just the way they came back and won it, I'm kind of doubting that and think that Phillies have a chance. What do you think, Casino?
Yeah, I mean, the Phillies, they're not the most exciting team to watch, but they have been getting it done. They were streaking at the right time. I picked the Guardians as being the sneaky pick, but the Yankees beat them, barely. But the next closest team that was sneaky good and striding at the right time happened to be the Phillies, and they just look good.
They're not they're not they don't look like the best team, but they look like a fun team. It's a fun team to root for. Obviously, the Astros still kind of have that like villain, you cheated kind of stink to them. Phillies feel like that good old Philly underdog thing that everybody loves or hates about Philadelphia with the underdog, Rocky, blah, 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 blah. I don't know, man. But I'll tell you what, the game 2 is tonight in Houston again. If Phillies win first 2 games in Houston, then I feel like all bets are off. If this game is, or if the Astros win this game and it's 1-1 going into Philly, I still feel like the Phillies should be excited about that. But then I also feel like there's that doubt that creeps in. But if they go up 2-0, taking both games in Houston, I feel like I'd have to pick the Phillies to win. I don't think Houston can come back from that kind of deficit. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. But the much better series already than I thought it would be.
You know what's also very exciting is there is a lot of money riding on this series. Did you see what Mattress Mac, the big time Vegas better, could walk out with?
If the Phillies win?
If Houston wins?
No, what is it?
$75 million.
Oh my God.
So much money on it, and has people in his, all of his following, like pretty much everybody is
hammering
betting wise
the Astros to win.
Yes, and these sports books will lose a lot of money if the Houston wins. So after last night, Mattress Mac, the big time Vegas better, he is shitting himself.
Oh yeah, especially I just think if the Phillies would have won, 6-5, and it was like a back and forth game, then I feel like I would feel more confident in the Astros. But losing that way, where you're up 5-0 and then you lose 6-5, like that's just, I don't care how good of a team you are, that's just gotta put that doubt in your head and make you do that thing where you're like, fuck man, how did we give up 6 runs to this like team that we're clearly better than, and everybody is picking to win, or everybody's picking to lose to us? I don't know, man.
So it's the Caesar Sportsbook. I just see an article from the Las Vegas Review Journal. Caesar's rooting against Astros because of Mattress Mac bet.
I also think,
man,
the one thing we didn't talk about in this is
but here's the thing. The crazy thing is they accepted the bet.
I mean, yeah, they accepted it, so they can't not, like, basically, let him make the bet. If he went up to the counter and was like, I want to place this, and they were like, no, then it's like, okay, but because they accepted it, whatever the outcome is, like, sucks to suck, but if he wins, he wins. Last thing I think on the World Series that we need to talk about is Justin Verlander. He has one of the worst World Series postseason records of all time. He's just, for some reason, can't get it together in the World Series. Do you think that's a factor at all in, the Phillies winning this game? Because Verlander obviously isn't going to be pitching every game. So do you think it's just that kind of jinx Verlander thing and the Astros win the next 4, or do you think it's deeper than that?
Man, I don't know. He's looking good this year, man. He is looking good this year. I don't know. I just think Houston, yes, they put up those 5 runs early, but they should have been able to. They left a lot of guys on base. They should have been able to close this out.
Well, they lost in the 10th inning with 2 guys on base.
Yeah,
and they only had
third.
1 out or whatever, and then it was just 2 outs in a row. And I don't know. Good baseball though.
Go Phillies, because I have a friend who works for the Caesar Sportsbook, and he's like, yeah, my company they wouldn't go bankrupt, but he was like, how he described it to me the other night is like, oh, you're in one of those, like, mini tanks and you're at war, where it's just like you in the tank and nobody else, and you just got peppered with a couple of 50 cals. It left some holes in you, but you're still moving.
I mean, I don't think anybody's going to feel bad if casinos lose money. They've taken enough from us over the years. It's time we take back. But then again, I think the Phillies, I don't know, casino. I think they could win. I'm hoping they win.
Do your Eagles thing. Pick
Yeah.
Houston all day.
Well, I am doing I think Houston still wins in 5, but that might just be reverse jinx because I want to see the Phillies win. So there we are. Now let's move over to NBA. And the big story coming out of the NBA is Saturday morning. It is now 9:00. The Los Angeles Lakers 0-5 casino. 0-5.
So bad.
I don't know when they're going to win their first game. It is fun to watch.
I don't see them. I mean, they're not making the playoffs this year.
Oh, no, I don't even think they're going to be the play-in team, the 8th seed. I think they're done. I don't think they can right this ship. 0-5. LeBron, again, everybody said, I think I even said at the beginning of the season when we did our little NBA preview, LeBron's going to put up numbers, but they have nothing else, right? Russell Westbrook is shooting just abysmally. This Lakers team is the worst from the field shooting team in NBA history. Like, just catastrophic.
They're as bad as, yes, there is a team called the Sacramento Kings. They're as bad as the Kings.
Well, and the Kings have been a dumpster fire for 2 decades.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody knows about that team.
Well, the Lakers have also been an underrated dumpster fire ever since Kobe left. They have that one bubble championship, but that's like a season where everything had to go right for them. Anthony Davis had to avoid injury and play to his max potential. They also had a bunch of kind of like role-playing guys who were playing out of their minds. I'm thinking of like Caruso just had a great Western Conference Finals and then an NBA Finals. So I don't know what I feel like that was a more of a outlier than like how they usually do, because this Lakers team abysmal. Like, man. And then Warriors kind of struggling, look like they might be getting on this back on the track. Jordan Poole has actually played pretty great since, getting sucker punched by his teammate. The Trailblazers and Dame Time are the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, and they look great. It looks like the resurgence
and not only
of
that,
Damian
they have the best
Lillard.
record in the NBA currently.
Oh, they are. Oh, let me look. Oh, yeah, but
5-1. Yeah,
they're 5-1. The Bucks, obviously, Giannis is, I think, clearly the best player in the NBA right now, and he's making a case. Yeah.
And but out of the Central over there, I do want to commend you on this guy. I mean, with Boston coming out and they had, their good start. Last night they did lose to the Cavs, and you said the Cavs would be a sneaky good team this year.
Donovan Mitchell, I think, what is it?
So I gotta commend you on that. Like, I watched a little bit of that game, and as soon as they lost, I was like, DJ said this. Look at what Will's doing over here.
Well, I think
I called you Will. I don't like that, BJ.
I don't care. You can call me whatever you want. You've known me longer than all of our listeners combined, so you can call me whatever you want. Just please don't call me daddy. Keep that off podcast, right? I want that just special between you and I.
Yeah. and for my viewers, every time I call him and he answers the phone, he does say, "Talk to daddy."
That is true because I am 12 years old at heart. But yeah, this Cavs team, Donovan Mitchell is also having kind of a little resurgence here. This Cavs team was like one of the youngest last year, but they had that kind of nucleus that just looked like they like playing together. They have potential all-stars, and then you add an actual all-star like Donovan Mitchell. I really like this Cavs team. They're fun, they're young, they are just beating teams nobody thought they could beat, and Yeah, they're my dark horse team. I don't think they have enough to make it out of the Eastern Conference Finals, where you have teams like the Bucks. I think the Celtics will get on the right track. The Hawks always, I feel bad for Hawks fans. They're always within the Eastern Conference like mix, right? They're always like the 4 to 7 seed, and then they always just lose in the playoffs to teams with superstars. I also said the Bulls would be good. They're 7 seed right now. The Raptors, I feel like the 76ers and Heat will take that Raptor spot. Uh, yeah, I think the East is way more interesting than the West. I think the West, the Suns, Grizzlies, Jazz, Nuggets, everybody kind of expected those. Trailblazers, surprise. Warriors kind of on the come up. Mavericks 2-2. I feel like they can also go on a run at any time. Pelicans, same thing as Cavaliers, sneaky, young, fun team to watch. So, yeah, we're 2 weeks into basketball or whatever. And so far, it's been a pretty damn entertaining basketball. I got NBA League Pass, so I'm watching way too much basketball, Casino. It's yeah, fun. Now let's move over to NHL. Give us your NHL report, Casino. Anything sticking out?
There's ice. No, yeah, no, there's a few things. So not
Bruins
so
8-1.
I was gonna say with the West, not too much. The Stars were a pick, the Avs were a pick. Like I said, they're gonna be doing well. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get there.
I
I'm gonna get there.
don't know
And
what you're
then
talking about. I'm just caressing my beanie.
The Kings behind the Seattle Kraken is a little funny, but it's early in the season. But I mean, the Knights, the Flames, and the Oilers, like I said, the Pacific is the strongest out of the Western Conference. And then, I mean, the Avs, like I said, they're going to be good. The Stars are going to be good. They're still in the top 3 over there. And yeah, and then so moving to the Eastern. So I did not expect the Bruins, especially with releasing Bruce Cassidy, who's now the Vegas head coach. That's not me to try to talk about Vegas because I'm a Vegas fan. I'm just surprised that the Bruins are 8-1 with 16 points after 9 games. They're looking solid. And they're beating teams pretty handedly, which is actually fun and impressive to watch. Why is it doing that? Sorry. Oh, come on now. There we go. Yeah, they've had a few good teams in there. I mean, they beat the Stars, which was a good team. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, the Eastern Conference, really, it just looks like the Bruins, and then everybody else, it's kind of like NFL thing where everybody else is kind of just jumbled together.
Yeah. The Maple Leafs, like I said, they should be a good team, but they'll make the playoffs. They'll make the playoffs. They haven't had a good start so far. They lost to get some of the worst teams in the league. However, I don't see. I have concerns with seeing how they're playing now. Obviously, it's a longer season. Like I said, I doubt they'll miss the playoffs, and I'm just wondering if they're going to look like this in that first round of the playoffs, like they typically do. They just need a W. So I guess the most surprising thing is the Lightning being 4-4. Very shocked, actually, extremely shocked.
Well, and to touch base on what you were saying about the Maple Leafs, that is the Golden Knights game I went to with the Maple Leafs. Shockingly, the stadium itself was only like, I want to say like 70% full. So much emptier than I thought it would be, which only says to me, like, Golden Knights, lower your ticket prices. Why are tickets to things so expensive? You play 100 games a season. Like, give a brother a break. That's all I'm saying. Continue, Casino, with your rant.
Yeah, what he said. Yeah, what he said. No, but for real. Anyway.
I'm sorry.
What was the score of that game? Yeah, you
It
threw me
was
off a little bit.
3-1. It was 3-1, and the Knights do that thing where they are like, if the Golden Knights score within the first minute after or in the third period, if you text this number, you have a shot at $4,000. So everybody's going fucking crazy in the third period. They score within the first 45 seconds, blows the roof off the place. Everybody's losing their shit. Everybody had text that number. I text that number, and I did not win the $4,000. So,
well, I'm excited for the hockey season. Again, a little surprised with the Lightning. The Canes, that's kind of the better favorite to win the whole cup right now. Had been the Hurricanes, or one of the teams at least. Surprised with the Flyers in the Metropolitan. So kind of what I'm looking with the East is some of the bad teams are looking pretty okay, and some of the good teams are looking mediocre, which, it's pretty jumbled over there. The West, it's clear. I was almost spot on. You just take the Jets out and you put in, like I said, though, I couldn't remember who I'd pick, either the Wild or the Blues, to come out as the third team out of the Central, guaranteed. But I mean, the Pacific, I'm right. Us, Flames, Knights, or the Knights, Flames, Oilers, and then Kings are right behind the Kraken, which they'll get their shit figured out. And so there's your four strong right there out of the Pacific. And then I say that last wild card spot is up for grabs. Yeah. So it's been entertaining. I'm going actually tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Who are they playing?
Yeah. They're playing the Winnipeg Jets, who are 5-3 right now. But they have lost to us already this season in Winnipeg. So now they're coming here. So yeah, I'm excited to drop my mic. I am excited to see that. And yeah, should be a good game. I'll give you the rundown inside the arena, like you said last time.
That was my rundown of the arena. Was tickets are too expensive. Help a brother out, make them cheaper so I can take the family. That's my hot take. Last thing.
This is not me. This is not a sponsor, just like Dutch Bros. You will get a free muffin out of it if you ask. But the Game Time app, that's what I've been using, and you can find some good cheap tickets on there.
Do you have to wait for the game to start to get the tickets, or
no?
Oh, okay.
I got them yesterday. I mean, I could have waited probably till today or tomorrow before the game and got a cheaper, but hey, they're still pretty cheap.
Last thing we will talk about before we get out of here, Casino, is we have been negating college football, which is sad because this is, I feel like, one of the most wide open college football seasons we've had in a while. The clear dominant team up top, we got two of them, Georgia, Ohio State, and then we get to Tennessee has a great quarterback. Michigan is a great team overall. I think Clemson at number 5 is one of the most overrated teams in the country. I think Clemson, if they make it to the playoffs, gets blown out first round. I don't trust Clemson at all. 2 weeks ago, we did not talk about it. Alabama falling to Tennessee.
We were right. We called it exactly what happened. Tennessee ran all over them with that quarterback.
Yeah. And that wide receiver had like 300 yards or whatever. Like, great game.
I love seeing Alabama outside the top 4. It is just juicy.
And I think when they play Georgia in the SEC championship game, they'll get blown out again, which will officially, I don't think they'll get blown out, but they'll definitely get their ass kicked.
No, they'll still get put in just because.
Yeah.
And then they'll win the national championship because
yeah. I think TCU, sneaky fun to watch. I think Oregon does what Oregon does every year. They lose their first big ranked game of the year.
Just crush from there, and then they get blown out in the first round.
Yeah.
Or their bowl game. Yeah.
So this is Oregon to a T, lose to an out-of-conference big ranked team, then they destroy everybody in the Pac-12, and then they get into the playoffs or a bowl game, get blown out, and then it's rinse and repeat with Oregon. So right on track as usual. Oklahoma State, I have no confidence in. UCLA and USC is a fun kind of dynamic right now where USC is 11th.
It's like, who's
UCLA
the
is
best on the
12th.
West Coast?
Yeah, it's fun to have West Coast teams in there. I think that UCLA might be on upset alert in Cal. Or no, I'm sorry. Cal is playing. Who does Cal play this week? Oh, they play Oregon. And Cal, for some reason, always plays Oregon well. I think that line is like 16 and a half. I wouldn't give 16 points to Oregon against Cal any day of the week. The big game this week is Ohio State, Penn State.
And that's actually going on right now. Ohio State 3, Penn State 0. Penn State's got the ball at their own 35.
I think that has potential to be a blowout. I just think Ohio State and Georgia are so clear and ahead of everyone in this league. I think, and I don't trust Penn State. I also actively root against Penn State for all that fucking Jerry Sandusky stuff. I don't know how anybody can root for them after all that. It just feels weird. But I think Ohio State, and this is unbiased take, I think Penn State is good, but I think Ohio State is so much better. I'm calling just blowout. I think it's blowout casino. And then other interesting game this week is Kentucky, Tennessee. But I think this is the week Tennessee officially like puts their flag in the ground and says we're legit. And I think they just blow the doors off a promising Kentucky team.
That's today, 4 p.m. Pacific, ESPN. Watch it. It's going to be good. I will be watching it.
Yeah, I think that's a good game. I think TCU West Virginia is sneaky interesting. And then I think Cincinnati UCF is also a good game. So Florida, Georgia, I don't know why they're hyping this up just because it's an SEC game. I think Georgia wins by 5 touchdowns.
Georgia's favored by 23.
Yeah, I think that line should be higher. I don't think Florida has it this year, and Georgia looks unstoppable. Maybe their only competition.
Just speaking
about
the Ohio State and Penn State game update. Woo 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 woo. Update alert. Clifford interception. Now Ohio State has the ball at Penn State 41.
Ooh. Last good game is Oklahoma State, Kansas State. I'm picking Oklahoma State, but I still think that'll be a good game. And then Syracuse, Notre Dame. I think it's tied right now, but I think Syracuse kind of fun team to watch, but a lot of good sports going on right now.
The Rebels, my UNLV Rebels played Notre Dame last week and still put up 21 points without the leading rusher and quarterback out because he's still out with his concussion for 3 games in a row. We're 4. The UNLV Rebels are 4-4, and I was so excited for this game. I think if they had their starting quarterback and the starting running back, they could have
beat Notre Dame.
They could have been within a touchdown or beat Notre Dame. I was so sad to watch that they still scored 21 points with no offense.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that about does it for us, Casino. You got anything we haven't touched on?
No.
We covered it all. We talked NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and now college football. That's it. That's everything. Yeah. Casinos. Nice to have you back. Nice to see your beautiful head not covered by a beanie like mine is, but we will be back. We're going to start a new schedule next week where we're going to be dropping shows Mondays and Thursdays, and then I will be dropping clips also on the channel Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday, Saturdays. So big things happening for the channel. Follow us on YouTube, The Only Sports Podcast. You can also listen to the podcast if you don't want to see our beautiful faces on any platform where there's podcasts. If you're using a podcast app that we're not on, it's not a good podcast app. Why do they have podcast apps when we're the only podcast? I don't know, but we're on all of them. So I'm Will, that's Casino, and we'll see you Monday.
Don't forget to get your Dutch Bros.
Yeah, don't forget your free muffin, your tea. Tell them the Only Sports Podcast sent you, and then take 20 minutes to explain what a podcast is to them. All right, Casino, have fun at work. Adios.
Amigos.